Hello my friend, and welcome to another video. I've been talking about quantity versus quality in a recent video of mine, and I wanted to talk about more about this topic of how can you compose more music faster? How can you finish tracks faster? It's another conversation, or it's another topic that I see a lot online from a lot of producers, not only for music licensing, but for artists in general. How can you finish more music or finish what you started, kind of thing? And I believe in limitations. Limitations is what's going to make you finish your tracks. Okay? You have a 9 to 5, fantastic. You're very busy because you have family responsibilities, or you're a student, or now you're a single mom or a single dad or whatever it is, fantastic. Finally, you can challenge yourself to do something that you thought it was not possible for you. Okay? So what I mean by that is that if you're very, very busy, you still have time within your day, within your week, to do at least one track. But what's most important here is that if you don't discipline yourself to do the uncomfortable things, then you're not going to finish those music tracks. Ideas are born in the thought, in the idea, in the brain. But I take it a step further. The music is already out there in the ether. The music doesn't belong to me. Okay? I can say that I composed this, but this track is already out here. It's my job to tap into those ideas and to bring it to life. So I don't waste time by thinking about the muse. I don't believe in writer's block. I don't believe in drinking more coffee or smoking a spliff in order to spike my creativity or get creative. I believe in hard work and discipline. And what I mean by that is that if I don't have time, because I'm very, very busy, and I need to finish music because it's a personal challenge. I think the first is a personal challenge for us as composers, as artists, that we want to finish this track, right? It must have a beginning and an ending. Then you have to discipline yourself and understand when to stop. How many more tracks do you need on your session? How many samples do you need to keep on buying before you compose your masterpiece? How many hours do you need to remix that track again and again? How many times are you going to go back and retouch it? So letting go is part of the process. Now, the way I do this is that I set myself limitations. I've spoken about this. It's one of my core teachings, strategies. Give yourself an hour to compose. Give yourself a limit of tracks. How many instruments do you need, for fuck's sake? How many people do you need in a band? I mean, I think of my compositions as people that are playing in a band. I need one drummer, I need a bass player, I need guitar players, maybe 2, that's it. A piano player, somebody that's playing the keys, even violins and strings and stuff like that, samples. And we don't need a singer because I'm not in a rock band or anything. But that's it, you don't need much. You don't need much. So I double up my guitars. Okay, the bass takes just 1 track. The drums is a stereo file. Some strings, okay, get excited because you want to be a cinematic composer. Put some samples and some violins and all of these complex things underneath them in order to layer all of those tracks. Fine, indulge in all of that. But I guarantee you that the more you try to overcomplicate things, the less you're going to finish those music tracks, even if they are cinematic tracks, by the way. And a lot of people love cinematic music and they want to be cinematic composers, but it's precisely those people that overcomplicate things, starting with the samples. I mean, it's a fun thing to do. I live in that world as well. I love samples. And the way they are marketed, they're just so appealing. When I go to a website, I mean, Spitfire's audio or whatever, Native Instruments, and I mean, it's really tempting to keep on spending money, man. It's going to make the track better, maybe, but you're so consumed by this idea of the samples and the libraries and, oh my God, the loops and all of this. And then you don't do anything with it, right? You don't do anything with them. You just have them there. And you keep on buying, you keep on purchasing, and then you wonder why your tracks don't sound the same as they do with the trailer that they have used to market those samples. The reality is because the people who are doing this, okay, that they're composing those tracks to market those samples, they're being proactive with their compositions. And they are on a tight deadline to promote that sample, by the way. They say, we just released this sample pack, this sample library. And we need to showcase what is possible with the sample libraries. Compose something. And they need to compose it right there and then, man. And then market it. Create a YouTube channel about it. Create a YouTube video, about it. And market it. They are on a tight deadline. Everything is with a tight deadline. Not only music, but TV shows, you know. I mean, companies, everything works with a deadline. But us composers and artists, we like to have it all open and say, I'm an artist, I'm a composer, I don't have a deadline. Well, you should have a deadline. So deadlines are essential in order to finish that music track. And deadlines are essential for anything, really. This philosophy can be applied to any industry, to any area of your life, by the way, okay? I mean, I can use parenting for that matter. For us that have kids and we're very busy by raising kids, it's funny to us sometimes to listen to other people that do not have kids and they say that they never have time to do anything or that they feel tired. I'm not judging you if you don't have any kids yourself, by the way, but I'm just trying to make a point here. As soon as I became a father, I became more aware of the limited time that I have because now I have to become, you know, a father, a dad. And it was right there and then that I felt this need to create more time somehow. And whatever time I have available to do the things that I have to do, like for example, this for me is work, but doing YouTube videos as well is work for me. It's part of my job, it's part of what I do. You know, I have to find the time to do these things and work with those limitations. And there is no room for excuses. There's no room for resistance. I mean, resistance is going to be there all the time. I'm not ready. I don't have enough time. I don't have the right camera. If it's doing YouTube videos, I don't have the right microphone. I don't have the right lights. I don't have the right angle. I don't have the right haircut. I don't have the right beard. I don't have the right desk, the perfect backdrop. So if I'm going to be doing music, it's going to be the same thing. I don't have the right computer. I don't have the right DAW. I don't have the right speakers. I don't have the right acoustic treatment. I mean, I have documented this journey here on the channel. I was using Pro Tools before using Logic. I have changed for many reasons. I have changed my gear for many, many reasons, but I never let that get in the way. In fact, when I changed from Pro Tools to Logic, it was a big thing because I had to relearn how to use the DAW and get comfortable with a new DAW. Now, in theory, it's the same thing, but there is a learning curve if you're using a new software, so you need to allocate time for that. And I certainly did that. And obviously, when I did that, I was changing as well my computer or something that was happening at the time. But nevertheless, you know, like if you're gonna do any major updates, you're gonna change your DAWs, you're gonna buy new samples, all of these things is gonna require you to just sit down and do that. You can't be proactive writing music if your system is not working. That's why I bring a lot of this examples here, okay? Because when we are in purchasing mode, like buying samples and how can we have more of that, then you're gonna spend a lot of time testing those samples, and there's a place for that. There is a place for that. I mean, as a guitar player myself, there is a place for practicing the guitar, and there's another place for me actually composing using the guitar. Okay, so if I'm going to compose with the guitar right now, I need to grab the instrument and start playing. I'm not going to start practicing a C major scale or hand position or what's the right way to learn this scale or chord progression and practice to a metronome. There's a place and time for that, and then there's a place to just play the song and play the gig. Okay, there's practice and there's playing. With composition, it's the same thing. If I'm going to be buying, you know, samples and loops, then I'm going to spend time doing that. If I want to try out those samples and loops, then I'm going to compose. Then I usually tell clients of mine that if they're going to go down that rabbit hole of buying more samples because they have to, you can't overcome that need, that addiction. Then when you are trying those samples, don't aim to compose a track. Just aim to try the samples. So if you have a new sample library and you want to test the kick drum, you know, then test them. Record them actually in your session. Like, hey, I like this kick drum, record them. And then record the other one. Go with the EQ and go all fucking nerdy on it. And then EQ the thing. How many clients and people I have sometimes that they talk to me about the mix and the EQs and the frequencies. I'm like, okay, then find time for that. Okay, go geek out on that. But don't tell me that you haven't composed a track because you spent 8 hours testing kick drums and then putting an EQ to it. Okay, allocate time for that. Do that in your free spare time. But don't use the time that you have allocated for composition in order for you to finish that track for that. Okay, because I've been there before. So you have to be very ruthless with your time and understand that if you're going to spend 8 hours testing samples and EQs, then do that and don't feel guilty about it. But don't use that as an excuse that I'm not finishing tracks because I got overwhelmed or because I don't have time, because you do have the time. This applies to anything, my friend. I mean, going to the gym is another example, clear example that all you need is half an hour, 40 minutes to go to the gym. Yet people don't do it because we say to ourselves that we don't have the time. We don't have 45 minutes out of our day to go to the gym. You have to make it work, man. I mean, it has to be done. I don't see going to the gym or making music any different than doing YouTube videos or doing the things that I have to do. It is the things that I want to do. Some things I don't want to do, like uploading my tracks, because it takes a lot of time to upload tracks to different libraries. It's really boring, but it's part of my job. So if you want to finish more music, more tracks faster, you need to go inwards and really analyze what you want to do with your music. And for me, it's just try to get rid of distractions. It's not about logging out of Facebook or not checking Instagram or social media. You know, we're adults here. Come on. I mean, if you can sit down and focus for an hour and create something that is meaningful with your music, then you need to go back to the drawing board and really work on that and compose a lot of music, like a lot, okay? Anyways, this is a video that I wanted to talk about, and I want to talk more about this, about the mindset of creating music and finishing music faster, because it's an essential part of being a stock music composer. Again, if you're new to this, my friend, don't forget to download my free guide, link in the description. How many tracks do you finish on a week? Well, it depends. I know a lot of you guys are pro composers already watching this channel, but I would like to see in the comment section whether you are an experienced composer, you know, friend of mine, and you know, that are doing this full time. Leave in the comment section how many tracks do you finish on a week-to-week basis, and for you that you're new, let me know as well, okay? Because the idea here is to not only help you finish more tracks faster, but as well learn from each other. And please leave in the comment section how long does it take you to finish one track, whether you're a beginner or a professional. Thank you so much for all the love and support, and I'll see you in another video, my friend.